Let me guess. You have a notes app full of video ideas, scripts, titles, maybe even some AI prompts, and you still haven't started your YouTube channel. So the question is, why not? What's stopping you? What's holding you back? Let me know. I'm Portia. This is Creator in Bloom, and thanks for being here today. So today I did something really different than I normally would do, and I got up, got my kids off to school, and then I said, you know what? Today's the day. No more messing around, no more procrastinating. Today is the day. And I put makeup on intentionally, which I don't hardly do most days. And I got my setup and I said, I'm going to make some YouTube videos. I'm going to get this started. So, my reason is not for a lack of ideas as to why I haven't just gone all in and stayed consistent and continued on this path. It's something deeper for me and probably for all of you. And today we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. So, a little bit about me. My name is Portia. I am a multi passionate creator. I reside in Texas with my family and my kids. And I quietly became obsessed with YouTube back in 2021. YouTube for me, like over the years, has evolved. Entertainment, music videos, little snippets of things for my kids to watch. We had FGTV on, we had Daily Bumps on, we had Savannah and Cole on with Everly, and just that was like YouTube for my family when my kids were small. And over time, YouTube started to shift for me, anyways. It became a place of looking up things, how to videos, crafting things, just every day to day things that you would think of maybe, looking on your phone for. I would go to YouTube. That was like my go to. How to fix a messed up garage door opener, the little rope thingy that, locks the garage door on an automatic. It's like automatic. Sometimes it gets loose. And I share YouTube videos to show others on how to things. So kind of became less of an entertainment factor for me and more of an educational place to go to find out things and to find things. And so I posted my first YouTube video like officially in 2021. It was real estate videos. I am a realtor here in Texas. I'm a landlord. My husband and I own multiple properties that I tend to and am in charge of. And so back in 2021, I would say like I dabbled with posting, definitely dabbled. I wasn't consistent in it, but I did get some views, and I probably would have kept gaining views and interest and comments and engagement had I stuck with it. I was and still am and always have been an idea machine. I don't lack ideas for things, especially as I've gotten a little deeper into my creative side for myself. I've discovered like, wow, I didn't know that this was in me. And so, over the years, as I was quietly obsessed with YouTube, some things started to kind of stir, and like I was inspired and I would get ideas, and many things came to be on paper, on post-its, in my notes app. The ideas were there, and I even have ideas back in my notes app that go back to 2021. So that has always been there. But I would tell myself, oh, I'll just go back to it. And, life happens, things come up. But the main thing for me was myself, and not thinking that I could stay consistent with YouTube. And because it's work, and it involves planning. If you're a planner, like I like to plan for what I'm going to say and what I'm going to talk about. And so, it wasn't that I was lazy. It wasn't that I was behind. It was just, I was just been stuck in this cycle of that, that's been, that has felt less productive, but really hasn't been, because I just wasn't ready to commit, really, because otherwise I would have. So I think let's talk about the dabbling trap. It feels and looks like progress, but it's actually avoidance. You trickle in, you do this, you post here, you post there, and um, you know, that's not going to grow your channel. That's not going to build momentum, if you're wanting to build a community and become known for something. And so, researching and planning and saving ideas, that's kind of a safe zone where, you can do that all day long, but where's the implementation? Are you implementing? You know, I would say that posting, if you're not used to it regularly, it's being vulnerable to do so, and until you truly commit. You've been circling the starting line. Basically, that's kind of how I felt. Like I've just been kind of circling and just not crossing it. Basically. So, and there's always that perfectionism that comes with failure, and you don't want to fail, and you don't want to read a mean comment or anything like that. But I will say, from my life experience and just my wisdom from life, you grow in the hard parts and in the hard spaces. That's where real growth can actually happen. But sometimes it's hard to see that and feel that, and you tell yourself all the things. Well, I'll do it next week, or I'll do it after this gets done, or I need to work on this project, or I don't have the best lighting, and I don't have a clear topic or niche that I'm going to talk about. And that can be tricky being on YouTube, having a niche, or, you know, a defining thing that you want to be known for. But really, the truth is, you don't need clarity to start. You get clarity by starting. And so that's what this is. That's what Creator in Bloom is all about, is building and growing in real time, sharing it with you, and I'm curious to see what others are doing. This time that we live in now, it's unnerving, and sometimes it's hard to know, like, what's going to be happening in 5 years. And so, at least for me and for my family, lots of pivots and changes have happened and are continuing to happen. And I want the freedom to be able to work from anywhere, travel when I want to with my family. And also, when pivots and big things happen, I want to be at least somewhat ready. And who doesn't, right? So yeah, I would just say, you know, if you want to be a creator, come one yet. There's a shift waiting for you. And like I said, I love YouTube. I want to be in this creative space, and I'm learning as I go. I also love watching what other creators are doing, because it's inspiration, and it's builds you up, and we can all use a little bit of that. So, life experience advantage, especially if you're a middle-aged creative like myself. I'm 48. I didn't start getting even thinking about being on YouTube in a business or creative or educational space until I was in my early 40s. And you know, just what you've been through, whatever stories you have to tell, it matters. It matters to somebody. And so, don't wait, don't procrastinate, don't put it off. Just start and see what happens. Because I know that I've heard other creators, when they build that momentum and they get that community and they get those comments and those people are engaged, and it can be a wonderful thing. So, and being a creator and even just starting, like, I didn't do anything super fancy. Of course, maybe some lighting. I have a couple of creator tools, like a tripod and a microphone, and just a ring light. That's it. Nothing fancy. And my phone, natural windows, the light from the natural windows, a quiet space. I don't have a fancy studio. I don't have a fancy studio. I just am sitting at my kitchen table and with what I've got. And that works for me, and hopefully it will work for anyone who's watching this video. Um so yeah, I want anyone who's feeling like they're lacking ideas, for just a simple tip that I can share, is to start in your notes app on your phone and build from there. Because it's crazy. I have been in the most silliest of spaces where my most wonderful ideas will come to me in the shower, driving, and, just cooking dinner, or, an idea, or a prompt or a thought comes into my head, and I just immediately jot it in my notes app. And I've got hundreds and hundreds of those that I have saved, which could be potential content. Ideas equal content. So, just in the mess, this is going to be a messy video for me. I am not the most comfortable with showing myself on camera still, but I'm here and I'm doing it, and showing up, letting go of the fear, and just taking that leap is what is great. And I'm proud of myself. Like I said, I don't normally get up and put makeup on unless I have an appointment or somewhere to go. I don't just do it just because. So for me, that big turning point today was just deciding I'm going to do it. I had a little pep talk with my 18-year-old daughter, and she's like, Mom, just go for it. Don't procrastinate. You never know what's going to happen. What's going to hurt to try? And she's right, from the mouths of babes, right? So I want you to do something today before the day ends. It is almost 1 o'clock Central Time, so we still have lots of daylight. And wherever you are, this is something that can be easily done. And I want you to open your camera, and I want you to press record. And it doesn't even mean that you need to make a YouTube video. You can practice. My video setup is horizontal for YouTube, but if you want to make some vertical short form videos for another platform, go for it. And I practice, and I mess up, and I bleep, and I have to start over. And that's okay, because like I said, growth happens in the messy. And, you know, just if this spoke to you, I want you to stay with me, and I want you to come back in the future. I am super excited to be here, and I plan on creating a 6-week series called Build and Bloom. And next week's video is going to be the first video in that series. And I would love for you to come back. I'm going to talk about some creator things that are, trending and that are happening, and things are always changing on YouTube as well. And you don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. If you don't have a niche, that's okay. Storytelling, my niche is going to be midlife, and the pivots and the changes, and what I've gone through, and how that's gotten me to here and where I am today. Don't box yourself in. It's not too late. Many people, like in their late 40s, early 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and even in their 80s, are creating content with YouTube. Anybody can do it. So have faith in yourself. I will see you in Build and Bloom. Until next time, have a great day.